like about the way things have kind of started for you here?
Yeah, everything's been great for me. Like I've said, the guys have been awesome. Everyone's been awesome, helping me adjust really well and making me feel at home, and that's when I can play my game.
Is your family over here? Did you get everything
So everything's sorted out. They fly in today.
How's that been, managing them, from far and
Yeah, I've definitely missed them, but knowing that they're coming today and kind of that was on the calendar was exciting, and just excited to see them.
Will they come to the game tonight?
It's a 7:30 start. They might come for warm-ups in the beginning, but with the two little ones, might get them to bed.
How old?
2.5 and 11 months.
That was such a, you got the belt last night. Like, what was the experience? That Saturday night game, kind of a showcase event. What was that like for you?
That was unbelievable. I think it was a team effort, being able to stick with the game in the second there, and getting that outcome against a team that's fighting for points every night, and that felt like a playoff game. And I thought, we stuck with it, and we got the win, and it's just a good team game. Felt good.
Do you think on a team like this, your offensive side can come out a little bit more? We know that Leafs acquired you for the defensive part of it, the ruggedness, all that sort of thing. Is that offense can come before a little more with group?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see all these guys scoring goals. You want to join in on it, but at the same time, for me, it might not happen every night. But I want to be able to contribute in different aspects, whether it's defensive hits, block shots, and I think our line is it's got a mix of everything. So, we're going to give you something every night.
How long? Did you know Camp at all before?
I didn't know him really at all, other than just playing against him. But I think the three of us, Reeser, Camp, and I, and we've kind of meshed well, and it's simple, and we know what we're going to do, and I think that's what makes it easy for us to play with each other.
Growing up, who were your influences in terms of becoming a player who liked physicality and hitting and all that?
Growing up, I tried to be a skill guy, but but that obviously didn't work out as much. But no, I think each level that I played, you learn something different, and when you're younger, you might be the best guy in your team, but when you get to this level, every guy is the best guy on their team and at a different level. So you need to adjust, and I think each level I figured out a little something where I could add to my game, and whether it's hitting and if I was good at it, kind of focus on that, or just being defensive and reliable, and just kind of try to find my way into the league, and whatever got me there, kind of perfect it and try and stick with that.
Was there a coach or player who helped?
I think just along the way, all my coaches, high school, when I got to college, it was more of a north-south game with Nate Lehman, and he helped kind of, defense first, and I think that kind of stuck with me, and I think that helped me get into the league.
I know it's a coach's decision and all that, but when you guys play with just 11 forwards, do you think that makes you a little bit more unpredictable for the opposition because they never quite know who's necessarily coming out on somebody's line?
Yeah, definitely. They don't know what top line's going to go, so I think that is big. And at the same time, I think for us, it's kind of everyone knowing each other's game, and kind of makes it easier for guys playing with other guys because you know what you're going to get.
There's a sign in the crowd, like a Cookie Monster sign for you. I'm not sure how much you got that in other markets, but what's been your kind of impression of Leafs Nation and the environment in Toronto?
No, it's awesome. They accepted my love for cookies, and it's showing out there. But yeah, the fans have been great welcoming. Like I said, this whole organization, everyone, the city has been great to me, my family, and it makes it a lot easier for me to play my game and kind of do what I do.
Well, you've been in a lot of big playoff games. You know how the game changes in the playoffs. How important is a player like Michael Bunting, or like that style, and how much you appreciate it as a teammate and he's on your side? Yeah, no, playing against him, you want to go and hit him, but he's so hard to hit. But in playoffs, you need those guys that are going to get in the dirty areas and get under our guys' skin, and that's that's a big part of playoffs, of just playing hard and like I said, get guys to take penalties on other teams, and in playoffs, power plays are huge, and
our power play is very, very good, and you know they take advantage of those opportunities. So he's a very important piece.
Is it easier to adapt to or like to fit into a new team when there's so many new guys coming in as well? Like it's not just you, but it's also Ryan and then Sam and then Jake, all these guys. Is it easier sort of knowing that there are a lot of other guys that are?
Yeah, definitely. You kind of lean on new guys too, like, hey, do you know where, and, or if you don't know where you're going, you're kind of doing it together, so it makes it a little easier. But again, every guy and everyone in this organization has made the transition so easy for all of us, and you know, and I think that's why we've kind of got in and kind of smoothly transitioned in as easy as we did.
Outside of the superstars on this team, is there anyone now that you've been with them that's really caught your eye or has impressed you that you didn't really know as much about from the outside?
For me, not so much, just because I've played against these guys for so many years and watching them play. Like I've said this many times, I'm so happy I'm on this side rather than chasing them around and, you know, killing those power plays, because these guys it's a special group, and you know what they can do with the puck, and just watching it firsthand, and you know just their work ethic is like you might not notice that playing against them, but playing with them, it's second to none.
What have you noticed about Marner's ability to take the puck away, steal the puck?
Yeah, I mean, I think not just Mitchie, but Willie, Austin, like these guys can, like you never have the puck and you're not afraid that they're not going to go get it. Like Willie's done it multiple times in overtime where he's picked guys' sticks. Mitchie doesn't give up on the puck, and Matthews, he's all over the place, and it's fun. I get a front row seat to watch it, and you know it's a special group, like I said, and it's fun to be on their side now.
Away from hockey, what are you enjoying the most about the city here?
I'm just trying to get my bearings. Like I've played here, but there's certain things I haven't found yet. Like I'm looking for restaurants and. Just find dinner spots, but again, it's still a little early. Like we've been on the road for a bit and still kind of figuring all that out.
Considering how well it's going, are you open to a cookie sponsorship?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. What's your comfort level at now with the new team?
It's getting better. I think just getting better every day now that we're home. Played a home game, had some practices at the practice rink, just get more familiar and get used to the city.
Jake was saying you guys got a couple days to kind of go back to Chicago. Where are you at with the transition in terms of like the life side of it?
Yeah, I got all my clothes, so that's a plus. And I got a car, so we're doing pretty good.
How was the drive? You guys drove together? Was it?
We drove separately, but it was pretty easy. Just smooth sailing, like 7 or 8 hours.
Was it convoy, like you guys together?
No, he stayed with his kids a little longer, so I left a few hours before he did.
Right.
What's your sense of Leafs Nation, the city, and the buzz around this team?
Yeah, I mean, they love it, so it's fun to be a part of. The building was pretty electric the other night against Edmonton, and I'm just excited for tonight.
How much is Noel Acciari the type of guy that you like playing with as opposed to playing against?
Yeah, you see the hits he throws pretty much every shift, and he's a beast down low. He wins all his battles and wins all his face-offs when he takes them, and just a hard guy to play against. You love having him on your side.
Pretty unique nickname too. Were you surprised by that? Like, did you know the backstory?
I don't know the full story. Just kind of roll with it.
He loves cookies.
Yeah, makes sense. So, yeah.
What have you learned about Mitch Marner as a teammate?
I'm really impressed, like how much energy he brings every single day. Before the games, during the game, the way he plays, it's just it's like he never runs out of juice. It's really impressive, and I think everyone feeds off it.
What's he like before games?
He's just buzzing, the same way as on the ice. He's loud, he's a vocal guy, and he brings the jam for us.
He leads the NHL in takeaways. Like, from your perspective, how does he create steal situations like that?
I think he just reads the play so well, and he skates so well that, you may think you have a step on him or passing lanes there, but, he jumps on it and takes it away.
Outside of the big guys like Matthews and Marner, Nylander, and Tavares, is there anyone that's kind of caught your eye and impressed you, like that you didn't know too much about on this team?
I think just there's a lot of guys with a ton of experience, and just the way they handle their business every day. There's, everyone's a pro in here, and they take care of their business, and I think it's pretty much every guy in this room.
What have your first impressions of Keefe been? Sheldon?
really good. You know, he instills us with confidence. The message is simple, and you know, it's just about us executing.
What's it like when it's 11 forwards? Like, what's the challenge there for you?
It's usually a little bit more ice, so it's kind of gets you into it. You just got to be used to playing with some different matchups here and there. So, yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's been effective.
Do you have to be more locked in on the bench, or is it more for the coaches? Like, how much of a heads up do you know when you're like going out and with who?
Yeah, it's probably just a little bit of both. Just pay attention and just, you know, talk to your line mates, make sure you're changing for the right guy at the right time.
How close was your birthplace to Pittsburgh, and what was it like to play there?
I grew up like hour and a half from Pittsburgh, and huge fan growing up. So it was a dream come true to be able to play there and get my start in the NHL.
Sounds like a small town.
Yeah, exactly. Small town. Everyone's a huge Penguins fan there. So yeah, it was
Industrial type town, or?
just kind of like rural, small town. Yeah.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
Crosby, probably my favorite. So pretty surreal. My first training camp with him, still remember pretty much everything. Pretty vividly, sitting next to him on the bench and trying to think of something to say and just drawing a blank, couldn't think of anything good to say. But he's an amazing teammate and an awesome guy, so really fun playing with him.
Did he say anything to you, or did you guys just kind of sit there?
It was during a scrimmage, so there was some action going on, but yeah, I just couldn't think of anything good to say.
What's it like watching him go about his business on a daily basis?
Yeah, he reminds me of John Tavares. They're similar demeanor and just the way they go about their business, and just so humble, down to earth. But you know, they bring it every night.
Thanks.
Timothy, as a defenseman, what's your perspective on how Mitch is able to, it feels like, lure people into giving him the puck?
Yeah, he's a great forechecker. That goal the other night was pretty sick. Yeah, does the same thing in practice. You got to be careful where you pass the puck. Doesn't always hit the guys, but as you said, he kind of lures behind them and reads the play very well. So that's just what he does.
Sheldon was saying, like, he doesn't always take the straight line. Sometimes it's an angle. How much does his skating, do you think, play into it?
I think it's skating, but also how smart he is. He's good at reading situations, and obviously skating helps. He's a great skater, but I think it's more his smartness and you know, feel for his stick and stuff like that.
How do you think Gustafsson has fit in, especially with all the Swedes on his team?
Yeah, we lost 2, got 1, so that's nice. No, he's a great guy. I know him a little bit from before, so great guy. I think every new additions we've had have fitted pretty nicely within the group. So.
How much do you miss Rasmus as a friend?
Yeah, I miss both Sandy and Pierre, close buddies of mine. So, you know, I think they're doing well. Sandy's been feeling it as of late, so good for him.
What stands out to you about Noel and the impact he's made so far?
We all love Cookie. He works hard. Obviously had a big night against the Oilers, and not afraid to hit guys. You know, good on the forecheck, good on you know, keeping pucks down low and you know, zone and stuff like that. So he's been great for us.
He's got a great nickname. Like, were you surprised when you heard that was his nickname and the story behind it?
A little bit. Usually it's somewhat connected to your name, but yeah, it's one of the best nicknames in the team for sure.
Tage Thompson's taken a huge step forward this year. You guys have done a pretty good job against him. What are the challenges with that frame? He's kind of a unicorn in the way of how he moves on the ice.
Yeah, I think before you were mostly scared of his shot, but I think this year just how he gotten everything together, his skating, a lot of skill with the puck. Obviously a big body too, so it's hard to contain. But yeah, obviously having a great year. Just got to be close to him and try to waste space.
You guys really handed it to Buffalo last time you played them. What sort of game are you expecting tonight?
We know they're a skilled team, good on entries and stuff like that. So just gotta play good defensively, take away their transition game. I think that's their biggest part of the game. So take away that and try and stay on offense.
What's it like for you when it's 7 deep?
It's a different challenge. I mean, it's you don't play as regularly. I play with different guys and stuff like that. But I think it's something you adjust to, and yeah, it's a different challenge, but I think it's worked pretty decent so far.
With like 9 NHL caliber defensemen, 8 or 9 NHL caliber defense on the roster, like how do you feel it's sort of impacted like the blue line's mentality? Like there's only 6 jobs or 7 jobs, I guess, available every night. So how's that sort of impacted even yourself personally?
Yeah, I think everyone's got to be on their toes and play their best hockey to be in the lineup. I think it's good for our group coming into playoffs to have that competition for spots.
How much heads up do you get when it's 70, like your next shift and who you're going out with?
I don't know. I think it's a challenge for the coaches as well to kind of manage who they put on the ice and stuff. But usually play a couple of shifts and then you sit for a couple and they come in again. So it depends on how the game's looking too. If it's power play, penalty kill, and stuff like that. So it's the best answer I can give you.
Is there anything you do when because you're sitting maybe more than you're used to stay engaged in the game, or?
Yeah, as I say, it's a little bit harder to, when you're playing regularly, you're always like in that mode. But when you're on the bench, you kind of just have to focus in your head and like stay engaged that way.
Thanks. Does your team have to be aware of when it comes to the challenge the Sabres present tonight?
It's another elite offensive team, and we've been playing lots of these types of teams here recently. So it's not just because we played them recently, but just the way we've been talking about how we have to defend and protect the middle of the ice, be responsible with the puck. All those kind of things are very much the top of the list here tonight against this team.
You guys have done a pretty good job against Tage Thompson, but what have you seen in terms of his real leap this year? He's a very unique player, skill set, size, speed. Yeah,
like you're saying, all those things. He's very dangerous, can score in different ways, can score on the rush, can beat you one-on-one, can score tight to the net, but can also score from distance. And obviously those guys who can score from distance are the ones that tend to really separate themselves from the rest of the pack. So all that's come together for him. So another guy, if you make mistakes around him and give him too much space, whether that's with the puck or off the puck, he can make you pay for it. But they got lots of size offensively throughout their group that are problematic.
So Austin said before the season, he was talking to Sportsnet, that he thought that Tage was one of the most underrated players in the league. And he obviously played with him growing up. Did you guys have sort of a sense in your room that this guy is a player that has a much higher ceiling than what he's shown?
Yeah, I think. Well, I coached against him in the American Hockey League as well when he was really trying to find his way. And at that time, he was shooting the puck at the AHL level. I remember chuckling watching some of the clips of him at the AHL level shoot a puck when he first came down to Rochester there. And you're not used to seeing guys shoot pucks like that in the American League. And he was still kind of finding his way, but I knew he had that in him, and the skill set and the coordination for a guy his size. It seems the older he's got, it's all come together, and confidence goes a long way within that. But certainly he's just another one of these guys. You look at the caliber of player we've had to play against here the last little stretch. Whether that's Jersey, Edmonton, whatever it is. He's another one of those guys to be aware of. But they've got lots of them. I mentioned it the last time we played these guys. I don't know how many first round picks they've got in their group, but it's a lot of really high picks. So whether it's guys like Thompson that have really solidified themselves and starting to separate themselves, they got a lot of young guys as well with a lot of skill that you got to be aware of. So throughout their lineup, we just got to do all that we can to keep the puck away from them.
It's a bit of a cliche. Obviously, they're a playoff desperate team, but bigger picture for your club, you guys, trying to stay ahead of Tampa, that kind of thing. These are very meaningful games for you guys down the stretch as well.
Yeah, for sure. We want to keep getting as many points as we can. More importantly, we just want to continue to build our game and to feel good about how we're playing and build confidence within our group. That's really what we've been focusing on, and we've liked a lot of things that we've done here of late, and all the things because of the type of opponent we're playing, or we've been playing, and because of how we know we need to play down the stretch here and into the playoffs. you'll just continue to focus on that because it's going to really help us be able to compete against a team like Buffalo.
Sheldon, how are you seeing Acciari's impact and influence the rest of the forward?
Well, I think that one of the big things is it just, it just allows, well, first of all, the way that he plays in terms of the competitiveness and being physical on the puck, that can only help bring your group together and be more competitive themselves and step up their physicality. But also just having another guy that you can put on the ice at any time against any opponent allows us to really, I looked the other night as an example, where do we get down a game against Edmonton? And to me, I looked at, we're trying to go Matthews against McDavid quite a bit. And I needed to change that matchup because all of a sudden I needed to get Austin a little more free and needed to get our best offensive people, playing against their third and fourth lines and fifth and sixth defensemen and all of that. So in order to do that, especially against that caliber of player, you need to have other guys that you can trust that can get you through some of those other matchups. So you start to, you need to rely on Kampf and Acciari to play some shifts against the McDavids and Draisaitl's of the world. And when you have that, you can do it. And that's exactly, to me, that's what we did the other night. We switched the matchups midway through the second period and kind of flipped it and still were able to contain their best people, yet our offensive guys can really start to push the pace and start to, to really try to change the game offensively. So that, to me, is where the biggest impact is felt. And I put Aston Reese in that same category. He's a guy, when he's on the ice defensively, he does a really good job for us. So you can get through some of those moments where you can try to get the favorable matchups to really help your offensive guys.
A couple games into, having 8, 9 NHL caliber defensemen on the roster, how do you feel the blue lines responded to sort of the lack of security around jobs? There's only 6, 7 spots for 8, 9 guys.
Yeah, I think guys have responded well. I mean, I think we've done a good job here. I mean, I look at it, I would yesterday maybe not as complete, or not. I say yesterday, last game, not as complete or quite as clean a third period as we had in Calgary and how we felt throughout that game. But we've played some of our best hockey here with 11-7. I'll go back on the road trip. We played 12-6 in Edmonton, was probably the worst we felt about our game on that trip. Just so happened to be against an opponent that played 11-7 that night. And then we played 11-7 different times. And in Calgary, as I was referring to there, I felt that was as good a game as we played. And so I think the guys, whether it's the defense or the forwards, have responded really well to it themselves. And, it's not the most comfortable thing because they've got to be on their toes. Coaches have got to be, making way more decisions and managing the bench far differently. But the guys have responded well, and like I was sort of alluding to the other night against Edmonton, I thought you could see some of the advantages to it offensively, where when the other team's trying to match your rhythm with their D pairs and their matchups, you can really mess with that a little bit. They're not quite sure what's coming next. So there's a lot of things that are happening with that can be positives, but like we spoke of yesterday, we're really trying to just keep our defense involved here, especially with a Riley injury. It's a lot easier for us to play 7 and give lots of guys opportunities to play together, play with different people, and most importantly, be in uniform.
If they all stay healthy, all the D, though, Sean, do you have an end game in sight when you're going to say, okay, there's only 6 going forward, and let's get this in order here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we also got to make a decision. I mean, we might discover through this that we just might be better at 11-7. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I think look at how things have gone for us here of late, and you can see some of the positives coming out of it. I think it's important that we're not just locked into 12-6, because I have seen some really good things for us. So there's our own game. I referred to the other night in Edmonton that we were 12-6 and we were struggling, and at 11-7 the Oilers were rolling over top of us. Tampa Bay Lightning went 11-7 throughout 2 Stanley Cup runs. I mean, so I think to just sit here and say 12-6 is absolutely the way that you have to play, I don't think that's fair to our group. We've got way more depth on defense than we've ever had. So you know, it's something for us to manage there. And I think we have more depth on forward as well, so we have got more guys that can take on more responsibilities, 5-on-5, special teams, whatever it might be. So, you know, while 12 and 6 is the most comfortable situation, it might not be the best one. So it's important that we give it some time and be really smart with how we manage it the rest of the way.
Any more clarity on when Luke Shen's going to arrive?
He's I haven't got the exact details, but he's supposed to be flying here this afternoon, making his way out here. So I think we'll see him in the building. Not tonight, I don't think he'll be in the building, but going forward.
When would you expect Ryan to start skating, or has he already?
He hasn't skated yet, but it's imminent. I'm not quite sure exactly on the day, but he's been in every day and doing what he needs to do to get ready. But I was told he was expected on skates this week.
You have any cookie recommendations for Acciari?
No, I haven't talked to him about that, but it's a great nickname. You don't get too many of those, and it's nice. It's nice to have, because especially, you know, you start to get so many of the names that sound the same, and you know, we've got the O'Reilly and Riley situation that came in, so to have Factor and Cookie to come into the mix is a nice change.
As a coach on the bench, when you go on 11-7, there's a lot going on the bench. Like, this team has had problems with too many men penalties in the past. You find the players are more engaged in 11. Like, how much chatter is going on? Like, how much different is your job or the assistant's job with 11?
Well, it's different for sure. It's probably, I mean, Dean is doing his thing down on the defense end, and you're not always, you know, as connected to what's happening down there. But the forward side of it, you know, you gotta generally, instead of calling out one line, your one name, you'd say, you know, Austin, your line is going. You know, now you're generally calling 3 names instead of just the one. It's just got to try to be on top of it a little bit quicker, call it out a little bit quicker so the guys know and they're aware. Probably the biggest thing for me is you're managing the energy level of the guys, because you're doubling up guys at different times, especially when you're trying to have some continuity. You know, I think the Cam Acciari and Austin Reese line played, for the most part, was intact throughout the game, and Matthew's line, especially in the first period, was intact throughout. So it was really the Tavares and Lafferty group that I was playing with those 5 guys. Sometimes you want to double guys up, but they're not quite ready. You know, I use Willie a lot in those situations, and I didn't intend on using him so much, but it's just the way that it worked. The TV timeouts where they land, he's fresh again, and it makes it easier that way. So what I found is you have a plan going into it, but you really have to respond to what's happening in the game, because sometimes the guy you have in mind to double up, he's going to get caught out, he's tired, the whistles don't fall where you think they might, and the guys aren't as rested. So there's a lot of things happening there that certainly you know, are different, that the coaches have to stay on top of. But it's not a bad thing either to keep the coaches on their toes.
Lots of depth now, but do you foresee getting Wayne Simmons? And it's been a long time since he's played a hockey game now.
Yeah, we'll see. It's like it's not top of my list right now. You know, we added Lafferty and Acciari, and keeping those guys in, you know, with sitting at 11 forwards is obviously harder for guys like Simmer and Steves, for that matter, to get in. But you know, we've been able to get him back here and get him involved in practice again, which is kind of the first step to keep him up and running. And you know, we'll take everything day at a time. The schedule's going to get real busy here. We got 4 games this week. You know, back-to-backs coming up here too. So you know, we'll look at those kind of things with he and the rest of the group. Thank you.